like to invite Zen Chu up onto the stage. Zen is our faculty director for MIT Hacking Medicine, and he is amazing, so good to pass it up.
All right, no more slides, all right? Hacking Medicine folks, come on up. It is our honor and privilege to be here partnered with the VA and here for the noble mission of healthcare, entrepreneurship, and creating new solutions. Come on up, you guys. These guys are all our MIT students, and they're the heroes of all of these events. We've done over 150 of them around the world, and we do it for free, all right? They cover our expenses, but we do it for free. We're unpaid. And it's pure love that these guys do this, and we've, over the last decade, honed this process that's going to look ugly and chaotic, all right? But we've honed it, and we know it works. Not only is Dr. John Bloom one of our heroes, but we've got now, over $1 billion of realized venture value created because these solutions not only save lives and reduce suffering, but they are incredibly valuable. And so when you actually focus on the business model as well as the care solution, all right, you can create incredible value in the system, all right? More value than you capture, right? And give it forward. And so we give this away for you. We don't have a business model for this, but we also encourage you to have a business model and don't shy away. Because whether you're in government or you're nonprofit, right? Or you're an entrepreneur or an engineer, you've got to focus on sustainable solutions. Otherwise, you've got to go kiss the ass of some government agency or Bill Gates, right? And that is unsustainable. You'll get tired of that, trust me, all right? So instead, create something where you can actually justify the economic ROI. And we will teach you in that process. And ask these folks, because we may be young, but we've seen it over and over again, and we will coach you through this process. So, wherever you've come from, thank you. But you're here now. Let the bullshit of the week wash over you and off, all right? Be present, all right? Focus on this. Go all in. It's going to be fun. It's going to be chaotic. Who the hell knows what comes out on Sunday, right? And regardless of whether you have a winning team or not, you're going to go home to your labs or your offices or your school, and you're going to have seen and tasted a new process, right? And it's focusing on the problems, communicating those problems, going deep on those problems, because only then are the solutions. Don't bring solutions here and think you just need to sell it, right? Clean slate, all right? So be present, and the last thing is well, just give it up for these guys.
Thank you, Zen. So before we break out into our own tracks, I'm just going to quickly go over a few reminders for all of you. This is basically called Hack 101. It's just a basic overview of what you can expect for this upcoming weekend. So, first off, we'd like to give a big round of applause to all of our sponsors. Thank you so much. Shout out to sponsors actually have brought their own mentors here, so if you see anyone wearing a yellow lanyard, those are our mentors. Please, thank you for coming and volunteering their time, but also if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. So, now with Hack 101. First, what does hacking mean? So, a lot of you guys might think that hacking is like some guy in a basement doing some matrix stuff, but that's not really what hacking is about here. At MIT, we decided to coin the word of hacking being a creative application of ingenuity. And so you see this a lot inside hackathons, of course, but also like just within MIT. We were able to get a fire truck to the roof of our school because we thought it would be cool. And so, what about in terms of like what a hackathon is? Well, a hackathon is basically the combination of the word hack and marathon. So, there's teamwork involved, there's innovation involved, and it's just really intense. You have 48 hours to think of something, and by the end of those 48 hours, you have to present it in a group of basically 100 people. But healthcare hackathons are a little bit different from other hackathons. So just out of quick show of hands, how many of you have been to an MIT Hacking Medicine hackathon before? Okay, great. Thank you so much for coming back. For everyone else, just basically these 4 reasons why a healthcare hackathon might be different from another hackathon you might have experienced. First, there's no need for you to code. Obviously, engineers are really useful, but we want to see interdisciplinary teams because healthcare is very interdisciplinary. There are people who here are engineers or entrepreneurs, they're in pharmacy, or maybe they practice medicine. If you look around yourselves, you have people ranging from middle schoolers to CEOs and people who have retired because they all are able to bring something to this table. Another thing is that instead of focusing on solutions, we focus on the problem. So rather than trying to think about how you can build an app to solve something, we want to think about the problem and then build a solution out of that. And finally, feasibility and the business viability are integral to this process because we want to make sure that whatever solution you come up can actually be able to help real patients in the long run. So this is just a quick map of some of the hackathons that we've had within the last 5 years. Obviously, a lot of them are in the United States, but we really believe that this methodology is universal and can help healthcare innovation in any part of the world. Through these hackathons, we've had over 45 companies come out in just 4 years, raise $175 million in funding, join accelerator programs like Techstars, Rock Health, and Y Combinator, and they've been able to make a real impact, being able to start their own clinical trials and work with real patients. Now, just a quick show of hands, how many of you guys know what PillPack is? Okay, that's a decent number of you. If you haven't heard of PillPack, that's also one of our other success stories. They were recently acquired by Amazon for just under $1 billion, and it really goes to show that what we have here works. So if you really want to solve a problem in healthcare, this is one of the best places for you to find the people to work on it. But what does a healthcare hackathon actually look like? Well, it's pretty simple. It basically comprises of these 6 steps. For tonight, right after this presentation, you'll be going upstairs or staying in this area to basically pitch a problem. And so basically what that means is that you have 1 minute to think of any problem in healthcare that you want to tackle, or maybe you want someone else to tackle. And then after that, we have mixing, which is when people basically form teams around the problems that they want to address during the hackathon. After that, on Saturday is when most of the hackathon will be taking place, and this is really the meat of the actual hackathon. That's when you break down your problem and think of a solution out of it. But obviously, sometimes the first problem you come up with or the first solution that you come up with isn't the best, and so that's where the feedback comes in. That's where we have mentors, we have other volunteers to help you provide feedback on how you can improve and iterate on your solution, until finally on Sunday at 1 p.m. is your presentation. And just as a quick side note, your presentation will consist of 3 minutes of actual pitching and then 2 minutes of Q&A. So to summarize this entire hackathon process, all it takes is you first have to identify the problem, break it down, brainstorm for solutions, and then iterate and improve. That's all it is. And now just a quick summary of what you should be doing at this hackathon. Do open yourself to crazy ideas. Sometimes it's things that you think will never exist are the ones that are actually the best solutions. Leave your job titles at the door. So again, we have people ranging from middle schoolers to MD, PhDs, but over here, everyone here is just passionate and enthusiastic about something that they want to solve. So ultimately, it's not about your job titles, but rather your enthusiasm. Seek diverse teams, since again, this is a pretty interdisciplinary environment. So if you came here with 5 engineers, that's great, but we also encourage you to maybe look at finding other teams or finding other people with different expertise to help you with your project. Do reach out for help. We have mentors here. Fail fast and change. So if you see that you might be getting into a dead end, feel free to iterate and pivot. Like, this is all of what the hackathon is about. Do focus on your problem, and also by the end, please try to build something to show that your solution is feasible. Now, as for hack do nots. Do not worry about patenting or discussing ownership. It's way too early for that. Don't develop too broad of a solution. Don't be negative, don't be shy, but at the same time, don't monopolize the conversation. And finally, lastly, just take action, try things out. If you're just talking the entire time, then you're not going to be able to build something by the end. Obviously, we don't expect you to have a completely finished product by the end, but you should be able to show that whatever solution you come up with is feasible and viable. And so in summary, a good hack is based off of a good story, meets a real need, and can be iterated, tested, and scaled. And so we're gonna quickly go into our tracks, but first, if everyone could just stay where you are so you don't miss any important announcements. Access to healthcare will be inside this track. So this is everyone inside the green lanyards, I believe. Is that correct? Yes, green lanyards. You guys stay right here. We also have mental health and professional burnout. Those are the red lanyards, and they will be located upstairs on the 7th floor. And then also we have rare and orphan diseases, which will be also upstairs on the 7th floor. Some other important announcements. So some deadlines that we have coming up. Saturday, everything starts at around 9 a.m. By 12, we hope that you can have your team all registered. By 7 is practice pitches, and then Sunday at 12 is when final presentations are due, and then 1 p.m. is when we have the final pitch presentations. All of this information can be found at grandhack.mit.edu/dc/portal. Please get that link stuck in your head because that is the most important link for this entire weekend. Continue with this, I totally recommend you to take a picture, but the participants portal is again grandhack.mit.edu/dc/portal. Can everyone say that with me just so we get this? Ready? grandhack.mit.edu/dc/portal. Okay, great. The password is DCHack2019. It has the link to all of the resources for the event, including the Samsung SDKs. If you ever need to email or contact us, our email is dcgrandhack@mit.edu. We'll also be emailing you, so please make sure that it is not on your spam list. And then finally, your Wi-Fi is going to be Samsung_visitor. There is no password for it. Another resource that we have is MentorQ. And so again, there are a lot of mentors. They're all wearing the yellow badges. And so this is basically if you have any question and if you need any help, you can request a mentor. All you have to do is put your question, put your table number, your room number, and then your phone number, and then a mentor will be on the app and ready to help you. And then, so going over the judging criteria, we basically grade off of 4 different aspects. So impact, so how real is your problem? How much impact can it have? Your innovation, how unique, how interesting your solution is. Your business model, how feasible, how sustainable your solution is. And finally, your presentation, which is how well your team worked as a whole and how effective your presentation was. And so that's pretty much all I have for today. So we're going to get started with breaking out into our tracks. So if you're in the green lanyards, if your access to healthcare, you guys are staying right here. Everyone else, if you can start heading over semi-nicely to the 7th floor elevators.